And we're back.
Oh, we're back.
I think
our first ever podcast again.
Replay. I was going to say we should just. I'm so down with just calling it the Fake Problems Podcast. I think that rolls off the done. It sounds good.
Let's do it.
So welcome officially to the Fake Problems Podcast, where I don't know, stuff happens.
We talk about some fake problems, some real problems.
Yeah, as real problems as two white 30-year-old men can have in this world.
Damn right.
But so what's going on, dude? Went to some open mic last week.
Yeah.
So you do some open mic, dude. That was it's fucking solid.
You witnessed it
was pretty intense.
The bombing,
dude. It makes we had this conversation shortly after we left, but the bombs are some of the funniest moments. I mean, at least, oh man, when that guy was doing that black club joke. It was so it was so bad, but so funny.
Yeah,
because the angle was going in like, it just sounded racist. I know he wasn't trying to be racist, but it was just like, yeah, black people just don't get humor. Is the vibe I was getting from the whole thing when I know he was trying to say like, it's hard. It's got to be hard to be a white comic and go to an only black club.
Oh yeah,
like it's
the thing is his joke wasn't bad. It just the delivery
was just making it like
yeah.
It's like if you don't have the confidence, sometimes it comes off as like I don't know. It
confidence is everything.
It is.
If you don't have it, your joke sucks. Even if it's a good premise, even if it's actually a good joke on paper,
dude. Literally, that's anyone who was like just kind of rolling and fluid. It didn't really matter what they said.
I know.
That one black comic who was kind of just like loud. Like he had some good stuff, but it was like mostly because he felt like he was confident on stage. I was like, haha, funny. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, confidence is the most important starting out.
And just getting to that place, which, dude, fuck.
That's my goal. So for me, I felt like there were positive and negatives for that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that was probably the most confident I was on that stage.
Really?
I don't know if it probably didn't come off that way, but you haven't seen my other ones.
The only watching it and knowing I'm going to be a nervous wreck as well, like there's obviously people who are more confident.
Yes.
Like so when you have contrast of like someone who's super nervous, but no one was really nervous. You just seemed like you were up there doing it, but you weren't on the black comic guy's level. No, he's so comfortable up there. The guy must have been doing it for such a long time. It feels like, but I mean, it was good stuff at the same time. It's just without being like popping like the black guy. Yeah, it obviously doesn't hit as well.
Well, that's my. But it's my goal. You just
it'll get there, man. That's the thing.
For my first, and like maybe you'll realize this too. Yeah, I feel like you'll be better than I was for my first one,
dude. I come off as confident in like friend circles. Watch me break down. It's gonna be bad. I promise you.
The thing is that the biggest lesson I took away from my first one is like, if I can't speak the way I normally do in a social setting, everything's gonna suck.
Exactly.
And dude, I'd been writing stuff for years.
Yeah. And you're like, this is gonna fucking
realistically
kick ass.
like a year.
Yeah.
And I picked like my favorite thing.
Yep.
Out of that. and I got some laughs, but
absolutely.
A lot of it just flopped, and it's like, wow,
dude.
Okay, and this is real.
What you said before, the material doesn't matter. It's all about like getting up there and then having. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could have bad jokes that just fucking suck, but I think we both have the wherewithal to make good comedy in terms of writing. Right. But that it's gonna all come down to us practicing and getting to the point where nerves are like a secondhand thought. Yeah, you're just going up there like, all right, doing this again. And I think I talked about this a little bit last time, but when I was a teacher, the whole beginning of me teaching was being nervous, and then eventually it just goes away. It just stops because your body's just so used to doing it. Yeah. And eventually, like, there's got to be some adaptive mechanism in your body that just decides, like, oh, this is not real stress. Like, you shouldn't be stressed out about this because nothing's going to harm you.
Right.
Kind of. But kids would fucking snap back sometimes. They hurt, dude. Kids can read you like a book. Dude.
What's the most cutting thing a kid ever said to you?
Fuck, dude. One doesn't.
Kids are honest.
They are.
Well, what age did you teach?
4th all the way through 8th at one point in time at that school. But most of the kids were pretty good, but there'd be like, I don't know. most of the bad stuff would come from them just being like, you're dumb. Or like you would put a lesson plan together and like being a new teacher, being in any field new, you just fuck up shit all the time.
Yeah.
But there's like obvious times where I'd be like, I'd had partied the weekend before and I'm like doing a lesson. The kids would just be like, what are you doing? And these are like fourth graders. And I'm like, fuck.
That's so tough when it's kids.
It hurts, man. You're just sitting there like, but it's shit too. It'd be way worse if I was like confident in the material and some kids like,
yeah,
this is so
and it's
bad.
like you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which that does happen as well.
It's tough. That's the deepest cutting thing. Just you're dumb. That means you knew you were dumb in that moment.
Because they know, they can feel. If you can't explain something to a fourth grader and they call you dumb, not good. But they can also just not, as most humans do. And I imagine in the comedy world, this is probably super common where people just don't like what you're talking about, and so they're just like, this sucks. Yeah. Not because it actually sucks, but because they're like, nah, not for me. Yeah. And you get that a lot with teaching because you're trying to jam Wisconsin history down kids' throats, and they're like, what? Shut up, pussy. Teach us about like rocket ships and fucking volcanoes.
Seriously, did you teach about that stuff?
Oh yeah, dude. Science and history. So I got a cool side of teaching, but then the history one's like Wisconsin history, ancient civilizations, which are kind of cool, but for me, like the kids are like, I don't know, you talk about like when the wheel was invented and how there's like civilizations from 5000 BC, we don't know how they disappeared. Ooh. It was probably just from like starvation.
Just heavy conspiracy theories.
A lot, actually.
Just pushing them down their throats.
The more you can make it a mystery, the more they're like, what? Like, what the fuck? Seriously. But
yeah, if everything hits the fan for me, I would be happy just teaching science to kids. I feel like that'd be a fun time.
Wait, what do you mean if everything hits the fan? What are you talking about?
If my life just falls, I guess my life
You're
fell
just
apart.
backsliding to teaching? The worst, in my opinion, way harder than being a
Really?
In terms of like, I mean, dude, yeah. I guess like mentally learning this stuff to become a is a hard part, but once you have it, there's not like, kids just throw new shit at you all the time.
Damn.
And there's no like right way to do it. Every kid's so different, so there's a different solution for every different kid, and there's different problems and different parents, and it's like, it, in my opinion, hell on earth.
Okay.
So just backslide to
it. Dude, I feel like you probably develop so much empathy from that. Just like dealing with parents and kids, all different kinds of people.
It's a mixed bag. Because there's you'll get the kid who's awesome, whose parents are awesome, but then you'll get like a kid who's awesome whose parents are just like, don't give a shit about the kid at all. And then you start to feel for that kid because their parents don't give a shit, but then you'll get situations where both the kid and the parents are shit. So there's mixed feelings across the board. Every time I have parent-teacher conferences, it'd be like, you're excited about 10 to 15 of them, and then like 20 of them, you're like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Because sometimes you have to have hard conversations with parents and be like, your kid is falling behind, and we've tried A, B, and C methods where I'm like dedicating a good portion of my time aside from just teaching for this kid, and they're still not doing well. And a lot of the times the parents just think it's like, if nothing's working, they point to you and they go, well, you're not doing something right. And then I have to look inward and be like, am I fucking up? And that's just one kid, one family. And that can happen in multiple.
There's like 30 of those.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, it wears on you so hard. Especially being fresh out of college, being like, I had just been drinking straight for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then being like, I'm going to teach.
I'm just picturing you talking to parents. That just sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Where I just have them in a classroom. Like, all right. Your kid's doing okay in history, but in science, his volcano, he didn't finish his project. So we're gonna mark Billy down, and they'll be like, wait, what? What do you mean mark him down? Like the second something bad happens, they think like, is my kid dumb? And then you have to be like, no. Even though most of the time it's like, yeah, kid's fucked.
Did you have like A through F grades, or did you have some other type of grading scale that like didn't sound as serious?
It was just points based.
Okay.
Where we didn't give like legit grades to it. It'd just be like, there's no report cards. Montessori is little different, which it churns out way smarter kids, in my opinion, because it's more like you kind of let kids do. You have a foundation of curriculum, but you let kids be curious in terms of learning development and kind of let them choose their own way. It's like I don't know, you don't put parameters on where their brain can go, and it leads to a lot of healthier outcomes in terms of mental development. So, but no like A, B, C, D, like just points. And if any kid ever had something that was like an F or a 5 out of 10 or whatever, you go, you can redo this if you want. There's no like, you get a fucking bad grade, you're done. Yeah. You give unlimited retries to get better at the thing. So, which is more like the real world. Yeah. Like if you fuck up on something, you can typically like work at it and do it again and fix it. So it's good for the kids for sure. Yeah. But anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. All right. So open mics happened. We went to that. Fucking solid. What else was going on last week for you?
Oh man. This is where you just get dead air for.
That's okay, dude. It's all right. You got work stuff fine. All good. This is just like the...
Yeah. Work's been intense.
I remember you mentioned that on Wednesday. Yeah.
Just dealing with a lot more people. And
fair. Yeah.
As you alluded to, can wear you down.
Yeah.
But these are adults.
I know. Well, yeah. It's... Dude, one thing... When you're a teacher, you notice that a lot of people don't really change much in terms of when they age. Like, you see the same exact behavior. Most of the times when you see a parent, you see a kid, you're like, oh, that makes sense because they act similar. But whenever I look at adults that are kind of acting weird nowadays or like out of control or outrageous, you can literally see like the kid in them. It just never got... Don't get me wrong. Everyone will have some like some wild stuff happen. Not outbreak. What's the word for it? Outburst. How about that? Where someone loses their shit. We're all going to lose our shit at some point in our life. And it's just like the kid in you, and you just have all this experience wrapped around it trying to contain that thing all the time. But it's just in there. That same person that was like in 4th grade has a little bit more like memory storage. Yeah. Like it's weird. It's so strange.
You just gather more information.
Literally, you just have more experience, but like that person's still the same thing. There's just like all this stuff around it.
So you're going to go on record and say people never change.
I don't know, because they do to an extent. But like, there's inherent stuff that never changes in you. Okay. It just sits. And don't get me wrong, you probably like, if you're a terrible person, you can probably work on it. But there's traits to you and me and everyone that are like just locked in as like, call it your personality, that don't really... Maybe there's wiggle room, but they just sit still. And you see it, and the less you try to work on yourself, the more you just stay in the same state you were as a 10-year-old. Yeah. And that's for a lot of people. I mean, at least in my experience, a lot of adults I've worked with, met, talked with, a lot of them have a mindset of a much younger person. Not a good way, not like a free, young, in like a way that's
just immature,
childish. I'm like, holy fuck. It impresses me how people can like operate like that. Like continue to succeed and be working on that level of like it's I feel like we talked about this a little bit last time of just it's crazy that they're still alive. Do you think they would just make an array of mistakes that would just...
Do you think anyone says these things about you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not immune to it. Yeah. Absolutely. I think if anything, probably more... Well, I can be really goofy. But I don't know. Probably my younger years, not kid years, but like, college, coming out of it. But there's definitely some stuff where probably someone would be like, yeah, he's fucking immature, dude. Yeah. But
we all got blind spots.
Working on it.
That should be our podcast title.
Working on it. As we just decided one.
Let's change it every week.
We're doing the fake problems one, and now we're doing working on it. Working on fake problems.
Yeah, there we go.
It's pretty tight. Yeah. So, but all right. Work's a little stressful. How about weekend? What'd you do?
What did I do this weekend? I broke my sober streak.
Sounds like a pretty good weekend. Good week, good weekend.
Yeah. It's all right. How about you?
So after open mic Thursday, dude. Oh, okay. Hold on. Some not crazy shit, but kind of wild shit happened. All right. Crazy, but not wild. Yeah. But in between, I bought this big thing from Whole Foods of this stuff called Stumptum. It's like a cold brew, like a big bottle. Okay. And I didn't know it's a concentrate. So like 2 ounces is like a full cup of coffee. I should have known while drinking it because it was so bitter. I drank like 2 20-ounce cups. So
Oh,
and this is Thursday, and I was so high on caffeine that I was like stutter breathing. Like,
so like 10 cups of coffee, basically?
Yeah, dude. I was flying. And it was we were talking, and the storm wasn't going to happen on Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep Thursday at all. Like, because of the coffee. So I just laid in bed, didn't sleep, didn't even drive home on Friday. I was like, I got off work and I was like, I have to sleep. I was like, feel like I'd just done a fucking, like, I don't know, go on a binge with fucking meth or something. And then then I slept and it was fucking good. But they gotta fucking label that shit better. I guess it's on the label, but I guess, it was just weird. I bought this cold brew and I was like, fuck. It was really good in the beginning because you're hot. I mean, I got so much done at work.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, dude. It was like doing but in a cup of it was so weird, and it tastes so bitter, like the strongest coffee you've ever had. But anyway, that happened. Didn't sleep. Slept Friday. Drove back to my parents' place. I don't know how your family is, but when you guys get together, do you guys ever just do like go to little shopping places and like bounce around to some like kitschy stores and stuff like that?
I mean, my mom does that.
Yes.
My dad gets pissed.
We have
same thing.
Another similarity between us. Same exact thing.
I think that's all parents.
It's got to be. Yeah. I mean, growing up, there'd be times where when like malls were big. I feel like they're probably still big, but like we'd go to a mall and my mom and my sister would shop for like 3 hours. Then me, my brother, and my dad would just sit on like a bench in a mall, and it's fucking awful. You just sit there. And back in the day, well, I guess you could have like Game Boys back in the day, which was a
Did
nice.
You bring a Game Boy?
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Think I'm gonna sit alone on a bench by myself like a loser? No. But so we went to these kitschy stores in Chicago, and I get in this situation where 90% of the time I'm there, I'm like pretending to be interested in stuff. Like I'm like, ooh, what is this?
Yeah.
And like, otherwise I'm just standing there staring at a wall like a fucking weirdo as people like walk. You're so close with people.
Are they like super small stores where the owner is like behind the counter?
Yes.
And it's all their stuff that they...
And I found that Fat Damon thing at one of them. That was pretty awesome. Dude, they had like a wall of those cards.
Is that a poster?
They're like little, I don't know. I think it was just a card. Like you could send that to someone, which I don't know why. It was the size of like an envelope card you would send to someone. But it was just... It's so strange that it's like that's a thing to do. It's just go and look at stuff with no intention of buying anything.
I mean, there's nothing worse than being dragged along at any store, really.
Yeah. Like when you don't have a reason to go to the store, you yourself to buy something, and you're like, yeah, come to the store. I'm like, why? Why suffer? Dude, it's and I don't mean to bitch about because I love my parents and love hanging out with them, but it's like,
for sure.
It's just, what are we doing? We could do anything else.
Is that all you did? Store. Did you do anything else?
We went to the store. We went out for food. We chilled at my sister's place. But like the main event was shopping at small stores.
That's tough.
I know, dude. We need to get some hobbies because it gets. The more I think about those things, are just fillers for people that don't do anything outside of work.
Dude, I feel that way about a lot of hobbies.
Yeah, which
is brutal because every hobby is a filler,
right? But it's like, yeah, I guess it went. The more we talk about, the more it sounds douchey to be like.
It does.
How dare they enjoy that thing they enjoy?
It sounds douchey to shit on other people's hobbies, but internally I do it all the time.
I guess it's different though. If I'd be like, "Hey man, I'm gonna learn to play the guitar. You're gonna have to sit and listen while I play the whole time." Yeah. That's the difference I see.
Making someone else do your
exactly.
Hobby. Yes.
Where that's I'm like. I'm all for all hobbies except for the situation where I have to now be into your hobby, but at the same time. I don't know what else. My parents are just trying to find us stuff to do when we're together, so I get it. It's me bitching in circles and just eating my ass the entire time. Eating my ass sounds like not the right way to put it, but you know what I mean.
You gotta pass the time somehow.
Snake that's like eating itself, that symbol. You ever seen that?
Okay, yeah.
That's what I feel like.
A lot more sense.
Not eating my own ass, but kind of eating my own ass. Topics. Let's go. Let's transition. You got something?
I feel like maybe.
Okay, so how are you looking? So I was wondering.
I feel like we need. I mean, we've talked about having recurring segments.
Yep.
I feel like we need to just come up with more of those.
Yeah. We got cry moments. We got something to follow. We got.
Wait, what was the second one?
something like the Ohio train thing, like a story that we kind of like dig deeper than everything else we talk about on the podcast for a month. Similar, we'll have monthly movie watch and just talk bullshit about weird movies. Yeah. Like, sounds like something we could do.
Just like niche, like poorly rated movies that are also hilarious.
I think, there's a lot of them. But Roar, I think, is an amazing. I mean, Roar has an amazing like background story. These other shitty movies we're gonna watch probably won't. This one's like,
you know what? I've never seen Sharknado.
Oh, really?
I would love to see Sharknado.
I mean, that one's like leaning into it being ridiculous. Like the movie, the people who made it know this is so fucking crazy and wild.
Did they know that for the first one though? Because there's a bunch, right?
There's like 5 of them. Yeah, I don't know for the first one, but you got to think. If you're in a writer's room and you're like, listen, what if there was a tornado that was so strong that it pulled sharks out of the ocean and it just ran its way through an entire city?
Is that do the sharks just live in the tornado?
Yes, but the sharks are like actively part of the tornado's dangerous level. They're getting thrown into stuff, they're eating people. They're they're in the tornado, but they're like doing most of the damage as they're getting thrown at stuff and they're chomping down shit.
Oh, sounds awesome.
And Tara Reid's in it, who's fucking babe, if you know who that is.
I don't.
I showed you a picture. She was like a 90s to 2000s. She's in like every movie is like the hot chick. Oh, fucking American Pie. She's one of the guy's girlfriends, not the guy who fucks the pie. And they're like only doing oral stuff, and then he finally gets to fuck her at the end. But she I feel like she got her big break there, where it was like, damn, she's a babe.
That's her big
dude. No joke. American Pie was huge, man.
It was.
That era was fucking nasty. All right, but for recurring segments, I think those 3 for now, unless we think of anything else that's crazier, I guess, or fits. But anyway, I guess with that, we should probably talk about the Ohio train thing. Any updates on that thing? Which, do you have any?
I don't.
All right, I read a little bit more, and it's just turning into the standard story of like every hazardous chemical thing that a company ended up fucking up. They're just trying to cover everything up, and the government's in on it. It's just like they're just ignoring everything.
Yeah.
There's smoke cloud over the city. The water looks like reflective like oil. The mayor had that video of him not drinking the water, pretending to drink the water, like, good, like you do to a baby when you pretend to eat vegetables. And there's, I saw, there's apparently, I don't know how legit this is. I watched a video, but people are starting to sound like Mickey Mouse. It's like affecting their breath. Dude, there's a video of this guy talking, like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to go to the doctor. And you're like, oh, fuck. It's like it's affecting people's breathing.
So horrible, but
it's hilarious.
So comical.
I highly advise watching the video.
God.
It's like, he doesn't actually talk like Mickey Mouse, but he sounds like Mickey Mouse. Like, oh, geez, the vinyl chloride in the air is really doing something to me. And it just sounds like that the whole time as he's being interviewed by a reporter. Wow. So it's affecting people for sure, and the government continues to be like, it's safe, dude. It's totally safe. Don't worry about it. Just go on about your day.
We're already not hearing as much about it.
Yeah.
As compared to when it first
It's happened. It's already been like
just
hushed.
Any story ever.
Yeah. It's weird, man. I feel like the farther you go back, the more journalism used to be about literally, it was the good thing. It was the thing exploiting the things that not exploiting, that's the wrong word. They're doing investigative journalism to like, I don't know, even the playing field for the common folk. It's like people don't get away with horrendous shit.
Yeah.
They like go figure shit out. And now it's all based on like what will get you the most internet traffic, which is, it's strange. I don't know. And major corporations own the news. So the influence is business based.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think a recurring segment is just talk about the system. Just how fucked up the system is.
System for fucking ever.
Yeah.
It's just, and don't get me wrong, we live in one of the best places to live. It just we live in also one of the most unique places. I mean, this country was founded on the fact of like independent democracy, which
right.
Up until then, nowhere like that ever existed in the entire, most places were still ruled by a sole power at the top.
Yeah.
And, you know, the president, it's to preside over the people. It's not to rule. That's why they call him the president. Servant. Exactly. So this whole country has the foundation of the people run this thing, but it's slowly starting to erode, like at its core, as we see now with everything being influenced by business. But business is not bad. It's growing the government. Business is good. The less government you have, and don't get me wrong, still need the government.
Are you a libertarian?
I'd say so. Okay. Yeah. But there's extreme versions of that too that people will like.
Like Ron Swanson?
No, he's a good version. But there'll be ones who are like, they'll have little, like, anarchism and libertarianism. Sometimes people will take libertarianism and go all the way to anarchism and still say it's that. Where anarchism is no government. Yeah. Literally, which is a terrible idea. That means no law and order, no police, nothing. We just hope everything works out, which is proved to not work in situations where a government gets toppled or like a political leader gets assassinated and they have no one leading, and then it just falls into chaos. So, but libertarianism is the idea that, you know, government we should still have law and order. So we still have some level of that, but then it always falls apart in any situation because you need someone to keep check on the people keeping check on the people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Similar to like how you'd have a third party company testing your product to be like, hey, this works.
Yeah.
But how do you do that with people? There's always going to be bias on every level in any direction you go, with like the checkers checking the people who need to keep everything in check. There's no like perfect solution.
I think we just need a strong monarchy leader. I just want a king.
We essentially have that right now, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because big businesses now are kind of like, don't get me wrong, it's not on the level of like 99% of the people are living in like mud huts and there's a king at the top, how it used to be for most of time. It's in the line of businesses are the new kings, though. Like the CEO of Coca-Cola or like a Mark Zuckerberg, like they are the guys at the top that can essentially control a lot because the government controls so much. If the government didn't control so much, in order to change something, they'd have to do good by you because they're selling a product. And if it's not good, you just go to a different thing. So the control only comes from us saying, yeah, we want more of that thing, as opposed to the government just being like, no, we'll just subsidize that, prop it up, or like take money from them and write laws in their favor. Like, maybe I mentioned this a while ago, but like before, not having the sugar label on the nutrition facts for like Coca-Cola and soda companies, so they could just like put whatever in there. There's so many laws written for companies because they just lobby politicians. So I don't know the solution. All I know is separate business and government and lessen government power. Probably a lot. I don't know about the military though, because I always get like crossed on that. Like, what's your take on that? What we have, to put it in context, we have the largest and most powerful military by far.
Yeah.
And people relate to like China's military power. They have more people, but we spend like 1.7 trillion every year on military power, which makes we're like the world police. Literally,
Team America.
You still need to watch that because it's the best take on the whole situation. But we are that, and we're the only country that really does like, oh, there's people on the other side of the world being like oppressed. Let's go help them out, which is usually just a twisted version of there's something we want over there that it has money or value to it, and we use that image of we're helping out, and then we go slaughter hundreds of thousands of like women and children in an effort to get like oil or gems and diamonds. Like. We just tell everyone we're not doing that. Like the Iraqi war was weapons of mass destruction were over there, and that was all a ploy for oil.
Yeah.
The whole thing. There's hundreds of thousands dead from that war that had no weapons of mass destruction, so no reason in the first place, but B, most of the people we've killed had no connection to terrorist groups. They're literally just people that we just bombed or tortured or murdered in an effort to be like, yeah, we got to keep this facade up that there's weapons of mass destruction. And it just happens. So what's your take on the military, dude?
I don't know, dude. That's tough. That's heavy.
It is. I think there's also the other side, where if we weren't the superpower of the world,
there are people that hate us. There's people that want to kill us.
Yeah,
out
dude,
in the world.
Why do you think 9/11 happened? I'm not, dude.
Well, yeah, obviously.
If we never went to the Middle East, that would not have happened.
Yeah,
they hated us.
Yeah,
because of what we've done in their country. There was this giant PR propaganda move by the United States saying they just hate our freedom. That was like a thing for a while. We would say they hate how free we are here, and that's why they attacked us. But we had literally gone over there and killed hundreds of thousands prior to the actual Iraqi war. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't have this, like... And then the Patriot Act came out after that. It all kind of works for the government. Where, like, they now have the ability to, if they have suspicion of you, they can just arrest you and detain you through, like, the FBI, send you to Guantanamo Bay, even if you have no connections to terrorism. That was the Patriot Act, in paraphrasing majorly. They can just do whatever they want. In terms of, like, if they think you're a terrorist, they go, "You terrorist? Come here." they just imprison you for a long time.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So,
well, you know, I'm under the umbrella, so I...
That's true. You're good.
Don't have to worry about anything.
But to the point of, if we had the opposite way, say we weren't spending $1.7 trillion and our country was like a Norway or a Sweden, which is the extreme example because they're like, in any war, they're going to get destroyed by a superpower. Yeah. But what happens if the United States isn't policing the world? Does it all fall apart? Does Russia just start taking over? Does China just start taking over?
I mean, now that we're in this position, I feel like we can't just be like, I don't really want to be anymore.
True. We're too deep. Fuck. But I wish we could just, like, not... It sounds super wrong because there are people suffering in places in the world that we have tried to help, but it's ended... Like, Vietnam's another great example of us being like... All right, we're going to go over there and try to fight the Viet Cong and liberate southern Vietnam, but then it just didn't work. And it's like when we pulled out of Afghanistan recently. Do you remember all those videos that were flying around, like people like holding onto the planes and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Because we essentially propped up a system there that was like trying to impose American democracy in a place that was like... kind of farther back in time than we were in terms of principles and how they were working. And the second we pull out, it just all goes back to the same thing.
Immediately.
Yeah. So it's impossible unless you like conquer the nation and you make it a territory, which is all...
That's just evil.
That's what I'm saying. That's imperialism at its finest. So it's like, do you just let people get tortured and killed in a place that, like, what can you do? This is why we, like... There's such complex issues that there's no good solution to. Yeah. You either have to use absolute brute force and take and make it your thing to make it safe, but then that comes with its drawbacks. There's so many casualties that fall to the sides of that.
It's like to accomplish things on a grand scale, there's going to have to be violence of some sort.
So much. Every time.
Which is horrible.
Yeah. But... And then, fuck. I don't know, man. Every time I get in this loop, I try to think of like a good way to go about the thing. But we have teams of people working on this stuff all the time that are of high intelligence, and there's no good answer, ever. It's just like, it's weird, because I feel like it's also riddled with good intention. Like, most things are like, we want to go help this person. We want to stop this war. We want to, I don't know. And then it just turns sour so quick, and then you soon have to like ignore the tons of people you're killing. And then once you start doing that, it's like, what else are you ignoring? If you can ignore you killing people, you can ignore anything. All right, maybe some topics. God, it's just so fucking dark. These are real problems, man. These aren't fake problems. All right, let's see what we got. Not military related. Okay. Oh, dude, random thing I saw. Have you ever greased a watermelon and like tried to play with it in the pool? Like try to like, do you know what I'm talking about? I'm
just gonna roll right into mass murder and torture, right into water. What did you ask?
Yeah, you grease. So like you're in a pool and you grease up, like put butter all over it or something, some fat. So the water, it's what? Hydrophobic, the fat. And you try to, it's like King of the Hill, where you have to try to get the thing, and there's a bunch of people trying to get the thing, and then fucking whoever holds onto the watermelon the longest
Did you do
wins.
that recently?
No, I saw like a video of people doing it. Like, that looks like a fucking blast, dude.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we do like similar things in a pool growing up, where like someone has the ball.
Dude, pool games as a kid, some of the most intense shit you'll ever do. Like trying to stay on a mat. I feel like we did King of the Mat a lot.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, it's like more high risk because someone's almost always drowning when you're playing those games. Like there's the more people in the pool and the more inflatable stuff, there's always some kid who's at the bottom of the pool trying to make it up under someone's feet. I've been that kid many times.
Yeah. There's try to flip them from underneath.
Yeah, doing something and being like, I can hold my breath for 30 seconds, then finding out you just can't. And you're like, uh-oh, I'm going to die. There was this, I grew up with a pool. We bought this big, like, inflatable, almost like a trampoline, but it wasn't bouncy. Just like a giant circle that was inflatable. And we'd have like one-on-one wrestling matches just so you could stay on the top of it. But the thing's diameter would touch the edge of the pool. Like we had like a lawn pool that was in ground, and around it's concrete. Ooh. So we're just like constantly getting thrown off and knocking knees and elbows. Thankfully no heads on concrete, but there was multiple times where there's like 10 people in the pool. 2 guys are on the top of the thing, and I like somehow got trapped under the thing, and it's huge, and I can't see underwater, and I'm like trying to hit the top. It's like a trapped under ice kind of feeling.
Yikes.
Yeah, dude. Thankfully never drowned, but that feeling of being like, I'm gonna fucking die, which not great.
Recurring segment I think we should have, since we've talked about it a bunch.
What?
It's like things that induce anxiety.
Yeah, all right,
videos.
That's a good one. Got plenty of those. Life in general, honestly.
I saw one recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, but it was this dude was paragliding.
Okay.
And he's doing flips and stuff.
Okay.
And when he's at the top of his flip, like the wind changes or something, and he just falls into his parachute.
Oh,
and gets wrapped. He's straitjacketed in all the cables and wires wrapped in his parachute, and he has a GoPro on, and he's just falling to his death. Scrambling. Okay. He lives.
How?
There's an emergency parachute. He's scrambling. He has to untie himself while he's falling.
Dude,
it's like a Houdini escape trip.
Yeah.
And he pulled the parachute out at the last second, and
dude, fuck,
still hit the ground pretty hard. But
that makes me, dude. All these extreme sports, granted, they're fucking awesome to watch.
Like, what are we doing,
dude? You're so out of control of everything.
Yeah.
Like Mother Nature, this example specifically, just gust of wind.
Yeah. Changed
the whole game, and now you're dying. You were going into like, yeah, shred the gnar, bro. Coming out of it, fucking, I'm gonna die, bro. Immediately.
Dude, some of my friends went skiing this weekend. Yeah. I will never ski again in my life.
Wait, what happened?
Because just nothing happened. I mean, last time we talked about how many head injuries I've had.
Oh,
it's just like, and like that's not even that extreme, but like even for that, I'm like, it's just not worth it.
It's probably one of the most common adult sports to get hurt in because so many people casually do it. But you can land wrong, snap your ankle.
Dude, I went last year. I was on a lift.
Yeah.
And obviously you can look down and see people skiing.
Yeah.
This dude just wipes out on a snowboard, board goes flying, and he's just sliding down the hill unconscious.
I mean, it's terrible.
As I'm going up to go down.
You're literally watching death happen like, all right, well, this is going to be fun.
And then like you see another skier like, oh shit, and like stop and call other people. It's like, why are we doing this?
Dude, my feeling it is fun.
It's fun, but the fun isn't even close to worth it, in my opinion.
No, dude, you can end your life or be just like breaking a leg as an adult would be terrible. Like, why do that to yourself for like 30 seconds of woo down a fucking hill, dude?
Dude, you hit a patch of ice and just there's situations you literally can't control, even if you're a good skier.
That's the point I'm trying to make is that in those situations when you're just like playing with nature, you're so out of control. But I love to watch it.
It's awesome to watch.
It's so cool.
You seen the flying squirrel suit guy who just...
Dude, those ones are nuts.
Oh,
where they just jump off a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
They're just like, you don't have any, I guess they have a parachute at the end, but just going like 160 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Just in a squirrel suit.
So there's a famous guy who does it, and he's literally like, yeah, I'm ready to die, so that's why I do
you
this.
got to have that mentality.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I think he like tried to commit suicide a couple times.
No, he's trying this way.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm just gonna have a good time, and I don't care at all. That's the only time when I think it's okay. Unfortunately,
when they want to die, like, green light it. When I hear those things, I just think of a very troubled person. Not to throw judgment, but when someone's like, I don't want to live, there's something going on, dude. I don't want to say normal, but I would argue that we innately want to live. Like, unless something goes...
I'm sure you've heard the stories of someone jumping off a bridge who survives.
The first thing they say is,
like,
oh, shit.
Immediately, like, they regret it immediately.
Dude, fucking... Yeah, the ones I hear is Golden Gate Bridge is infamous for having the most people try to commit suicide off of. The people who have survived that, like... It's like a 300-foot drop, and when you hit the water like that, it's concrete with the surface tension. Mm-hmm. And the people who have survived, they say there's a commonality. The first thing they say after they jump, they go, "Shit!" Like this is you're like immediately like shouldn't have done this.
And I think we're just wired to survive.
Yeah, dude, it's like life is that. It's literally going until you have to die. So when someone's saying, "I want to end all of this," dude, we can figure this out, man. You know, like, don't do that yet, man. I guarantee we can find a reason that you'd want to live. Yeah. But it sucks that it comes from people that are doing like awesome stuff like that. We're like, yeah, dude, keep doing it.
That's.
I want to see this shit.
The squirrel suit guy is a weird one because it's like he's come to peace with death, which I think that's healthy in a way.
Yeah, I think that is for sure.
But
it's. I think it's healthy. Once again, I can't. You live your life however you want it, you know, as long as you're not hurting someone else. But it's coming to peace with death. You almost have to in that situation, right? Like I feel like that probably came after him wanting to die, like you just said, where he's like, I think I want to die, and then he's like, I'm at peace with it because I want to. But I feel like being at peace with death is good if you're gonna die of quote unquote natural causes.
If you're soon gonna die,
yeah, we're like, you know death is coming at the end. It just is. You're not gonna live forever, and being like, I know it's gonna happen, as opposed to being like, it's probably gonna happen soon while I'm flying through the air
due to my own actions.
We're like, I am forcing the hand of death to kill me.
As troubled as that guy sounds, I feel like most people don't have that mindset, and
no,
like the guy paragliding. I don't know his mindset, but I feel like a lot of people who do extreme sports like that, they get a close call like that, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, most people.
And it's like, yeah, no shit, dude. This could have happened the whole time. But like, it takes that for them to realize.
It's a small thing. That's it. But it's death is weird, man. We're not old, but I think about it more as we age in terms of it still feels fake. Like, I know death is real. I know things are going to die. I know I'm going to die. But it really doesn't feel like that's going to happen.
I saw some articles, like psychologists think that we reconcile with death by thinking it doesn't happen to us.
Yeah. I feel like it's just another adaptive mechanism. Because if we were thinking like, oh, it's all going to end, we'd act in ways that aren't going to keep us alive. If you're like, oh, I'm going to die any day.
But we know it's
I know. But it's like, you know you're going to die. But do you feel like this is all good to just end at one point? Everything.
There's a fucking train coming, dude.
Dude squashes us immediately. Dude, it's weird. I thought about it more seriously on the drive to my parents' house. No joke, on Saturday morning, where I was like,
that 2-hour drive.
Yeah, where you're just alone with your thoughts. I had music going on, but you're just thinking, and I'm like, the thought of it just all going black at one point is so weird. All you know is this. All you know is this world and this life and you interacting with physical stuff, and then one day it just goes, it just stops. But then again, you're not going to know, I think. We don't know what's after, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a religious household, but even the thought of living forever freaks me out too.
I like that one better.
it's better. I think it's better, but I don't know, dude. Just
I don't know either. I know that there's
I feel like you'll get bored 1,000 years in,
but things change so fast, dude. Like, okay, think about if you were born, say a person who lives forever who was born in 1900. you got to see, like, there's so much innovation.
Right.
Like, you're not doing the same thing forever. You could choose to, I guess, but by force of the world and it changing, you would have to do something different. At the same time, like the studies they do on people who are the happiest and stuff like that, as you get older, you tend to get happier because the theory is that you get more okay. You like accept what this is.
Yeah.
By the time you're 60, you're just like, I get it.
I feel like that's just you have more time to work shit out.
Yeah, you process the world after years of experiencing it, and you're like, oh, okay. And you kind of understand. Well, some people don't want to die ever, which are me. But I think it would be cool to fucking live forever. But it is, you'd also see everyone around you just die that you love, which would be pretty awful. Like parents, siblings, any kids you have.
I saw a story. Some woman lived to like one of those crazy
like 120
or something. Yeah, and she had like a 70-something-year-old daughter.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Who then died, and it's like,
oh fuck,
it's like you just created and watched an entire life and then watched it end,
dude.
It's like, what do you do now?
You cry until you die. Literally, dude. That's so fucked up. Because you hear of kids dying, like not in those situations, but imagine
it's like their whole life, but seeing a full,
you're watching a person die of natural causes, essentially, as their parent.
Watching your kid get old.
I wonder if they still look young to you, though. Do your siblings ever look like they changed to you? Like maybe like a little bit
here and there,
but like my older brother still looks the same. Younger sisters, like they still look like the people I grew up with. So I wonder if it works maybe on that, where like they just look like the kid still to you. You're also super old, so maybe it's like relative. You look like a corpse, so your daughter probably looks like a living person. I don't know. It's still fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I don't think any.
It's just wild to like. I don't know what mindset I would be in if I just watched my kids live an entire life. Like, you did nothing wrong. They didn't die early. You can be grateful that your kids lived a whole life, but then they're gone and you're just still there.
Oh God, it's dark, dude. That's fucking so dark. I don't think any parent should see their kid die.
No, that's tough,
dude. Talk about like the epitome of pain through trauma. Well, there's bad things out there, but people talk about that love they have for Hans Zimmer, the love between a father and a son. It's like people will talk about that connection between parent and child that mirrors nothing else in the world. You won't understand that love until you have a kid. So having that thing you love that much die before you would be, dude, you break. You would just shatter as a person into a million pieces, and then you probably die soon after if you're 120. Let's be honest. Yeah. But you die probably a pretty sad death. Unless if you're at 120, you've probably had a lot of time to think about death, and you're really okay with it. You're just like, this is this is going to happen. Because you've seen probably at that point so many people die. So many that you know. And you're like,
well, yeah, you'll get a whole different group of friends. That's what happened when you get old. Your friends just start dying. Like if you get into your 80s.
Yeah, it's the flip of weddings. There was a movie with Robert De Niro a while ago about literally that, where you hit a certain age and the events you go to are now all of your friends dying.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's really sad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's
funeral season. Like,
yeah, isn't that fucking nuts? It's gonna be bad, man. I just want. Well, actually, I shouldn't bring that up. Never mind. I'll tell you off mic. Okay, I don't want to bring that up on the podcast. It's someone else's story. Don't want to.
Okay, sure.
Fucking do that. But anyway, yeah. No, I don't know, man. We're also science is getting to the point.
I was trying to think. This started from the paraglider, dude.
Yeah, I know. Dude, every single conversation we have takes a dark turn into like the system we okay? or death. Yeah, maybe this is just like an inward look to how fucked up we are.
Oh, I told you after my previous mic to the one you saw. The host was like, "Dude, are you okay?"
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, that's awesome though.
Like, yeah, I'm good,
dude. Fuck. But yeah, wait, what was I gonna say? Science, right? Do
you believe in science?
No. Yes.
Okay.
A little bit.
Conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
All right.
But they're like not constantly, but consistently finding more and more ways to like stop cell death, which is apoptosis is what eventually our cells are just like, we're done. We have like a timer. And if we can just figure that out, I feel like we're going to come across something that's going to be either prolong our life for a lot longer or make us live forever. I don't know. It'd be
I need that for CTE. I need that to happen.
Dude, that's probably going to be, I would assume that's probably going to be a treatable or curable thing by the time you get it.
That'd be sweet.
And you will get it. I'm just kidding, man. I don't want to put that jinx on you. That'd be fucking awful.
Nah, dude, I tell myself that all the time. It's fun.
I'm going to get CTE. You wake up and look
Every
in the
morning
mirror.
I wake up like
I'm going to get
I'm
it one day.
closer to CTE.
Dude, that's probably worse than watching your daughter die. To watch someone go through dementia.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Watch yourself go through dementia?
You wouldn't know. You'd be fine. You'd be like, who the fuck's that in the mirror every day? Like, holy shit. This shit's fucking crazy. Yeah, I wonder, have they ever done studies on, like, the emotional status
Toll?
of them? Yeah.
Of people going
who are,
through
like,
it?
deep dementia. Like, do they know? They got to know on some level. Because people are probably being like, no, we did this.
I think it varies.
Yeah. Ugh. But I mean,
I've known one person that I know now who's going through Alzheimer's.
yeah.
They're you can tell they're happy, which is like kind of a silver lining. Like they still have a sense of humor.
That's good.
They'll make the same joke 30 times in a row, but they're still happy and like they still seem to have a joy for life. So it's almost, I couldn't imagine being them. I don't know what they're going through, but it's almost, it feels like it's almost harder on, his
Everyone
spouse
around them. Yeah.
and his family who cares about him.
Yeah. That's fucking shitty. But anyway, all right. Topics? I got something to work through, man.
Let me hear your shirt story.
Oh, yeah. This is so small and stupid, but so.
Dude, I've been thinking about this story
Dude, it's
for
so
weeks.
Not that great. It's so average.
I'm so happy to finally be hearing it.
All right. So that movie, the new Top Gun came out. Top Gun Maverick. Did you see it?
Yep.
Okay. It's a pretty good movie.
I was a fan.
It was good. I thought it was, it's not, I feel like it got more hype. Like, people were telling me it's the best movie they've ever seen.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to put all my eggs in that basket of a Top Gun movie is going to be the best movie I've ever seen. So anyway, saw it, and I was like, pretty good. Not the best movie I've ever seen.
One thing I'll say about that movie, I love movies where they actually do the thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So when they have real pilots and that's real footage, like that's sweet in of itself.
And Tom Cruise,
outside of it being a good movie or not,
right?
Which I thought
it makes it that much better of a movie.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise has those. He did all that stuff. He flew all those planes. He's like, he can fly any airplane.
He actually flew. I thought they just sat in the back.
No, dude. He has any vehicle license you can think of. They have like CDL for like truck driving license. He has like top level licenses to drive anything he wants.
Is Tom Cruise actually a badass?
Yeah, no joke. Wow. He is. Because I know him from Mission Impossible. Like that's mostly where I know him from. And I was like, oh, he's an actor.
Yeah.
The more you read about him, the more you're like, this guy leans so hard into he does everything himself.
Right.
Like he got when what was it? Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, where he's hanging on the side of a plane.
Yeah.
He did that. Like, that's him on the side of a plane flying like 10,000 feet in the fucking air. Yeah. So in this movie, he flew the planes.
I feel like that turns it into more of like a performative, like if you were seeing a play on Broadway.
Yeah.
And people are like this amazing tap dancer or whatever their skill is.
Yeah.
It makes it that much cooler when they're actually doing. Like, have you seen John Wick?
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves just. He
amazing.
Actually does all that. You see him practicing shooting targets and stuff. Like, fuck it.
There's only so much you can hide, Like, say they didn't have the training, and then they have to, like, either the combat's lower grade, or they have to, like, have a stunt double for nearly everything.
No.
It just chips away at the quality of the thing. Yeah. So, anyway. So I see this movie. I'm like, pretty good. I thought, same kind of vein of your thought, where it's really cool that they did all the stuff, and the movie looks good because of that. They have all these fighter jets. They're going really fast. They go do the Mach 10 thing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and I guess sneeze. Oh, fuck.
Do it in the mic.
Yeah, just all over him. Oh. So I go home to visit my parents sometime, And like typically we'll watch some movie at some point where I visit, and we're like browsing through the movies. And I was like, oh, Top Gun was pretty good. And my dad's a really like mechanical guy, loves cars, loves planes, super into that stuff. And I might have hyped it up too much. And so we're sitting there, and it's just, I can see both my parents going into it and be like this is going to be good. And just slowly turning to like, and just that. Yeah,
they didn't like it?
No, they just, I feel like a lot of the movie is a callback to the original of being like kind of cheesy in 80s.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is not that great. And the bet out of this.
Had they seen the original?
Yeah, my dad had.
Okay.
But they're like, we get to the end of the movie, and I'm like, what do you guys think? They're like, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah.
Dude, there is no worse feeling.
Yeah, especially when you're like, this is good. And they're like, yeah. So they like, they thought I was so invested in this movie that they bought me this shirt. I could give two shits about the movie. For Christmas, they bought me this Top Gun shirt. It's like such a miscommunication.
After they watched it or before?
After.
Okay.
Where they're like, yeah, let's get this little douchebag his fucking Top Gun shirt, that stupid movie. Just buy me a Top Gun shirt. It's like, we know this thing's, it's not a bad movie, but in their eyes it's like, oh, he likes this. It's a kind gesture, but it felt like a pat on the head where they just give me this fucking Top Gun shirt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but
it's like they're trying to connect, but they kind of miss the mark a little bit.
Entirely.
That's tough.
But
and
that was the
I've been
story.
in that situation before.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's going to happen with parents.
Yeah.
Where there's miscommunication all the fucking time.
Yeah.
They generally get you, and they'll surprise you most of the times with how much they know you and get you something.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, a Top Gun shirt happens, and you're like, fuck. What did I do? Anyway, that's the Top Gun story.
I'd like to see your reaction opening that.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was the, oh, thank you. Trying to just like, yeah, I really like this. This was a good one. It could be also that they're all, my parents are funny people. Yeah. It could
Everyone's
have been.
going to think you're a huge Top Gun fan.
I know. That's what, like.
Do you wear that shirt out?
No, I have never worn it. I've literally worn it on this couch twice now. I thought this would be good to wear on a podcast, and then the story came up, and now I'm here again sitting in this fucking shirt. So
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, on to topics.
Well,
what do you got?
No, I don't. I was just gonna say, like, I have learned to pretty much never recommend anything, or if I do, not watch it with the person I recommend it to. Like the heaviest I'll recommend something, I'll be like, dude, check this out. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah.
On your own time if you want to.
Fair.
Because more often than not, even the fact that you're recommending it puts pressure on the person to like it.
Yeah.
And just overhypes it. Even if you don't try to overhype it, it's going to overhype it if you say you like it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, too. Do you ever think about how much emotion of yours is tied to it instead of it actually being good? Don't get me wrong. There's still good things I'm very emotionally tied to in terms of like film and music and stuff, but we're such like experiential creatures where if something good is happening at the time and you watch or hear a thing, you can totally be like, that was a good movie or a good song, and then you have it in your head, it's really good, and then you share it in the situation you're describing where you're like, let's watch this together, and it's either hasn't aged well or it's not that great, and you're like,
right,
fuck, and then it feels like I never want to have bad taste, and then that person's like, this guy has shit taste.
Well, and that's a deep personal attack. Not attack, but it's a hit to your ego if someone's like, this thing sucks, dude. Why do you like this?
Well, that's the key, dude. You got to have no ego. Dude, I was listening to a comic say
mushrooms. Take mushrooms.
They will kill your ego,
okay, for sure.
But there was a comic saying that once you'll do enough open mics to where your ego just bottoms out. His words say bottoms. I'm like, oh fuck, I want to do.
That's what I want to do.
That's where you got to get, and then you just start. You don't care as much.
Then you just build it up.
Yeah,
build up from the ashes.
Yeah, then you're just, exactly, dude.
I'm trying to recreate myself.
Yeah, but the only way you'll get to the good stuff is when you have your ego just leave, because then you're not worried about other people's views, which you should be in that field. But at the same time, it's like the funniest stuff will come from you saying the stuff you wanted to say.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to filter it through, like, is this going to offend, or is this going to make me sound like a douche, or am I going to come off nervous when I say this thing?
Right.
Like, it's only going to hurt you. So, hopefully that bottom out happens sooner than later. I'm thinking my first mic. Though, such a bad bomb that I just lose all ego in a matter of 5 minutes. All right. So, first thing, some redigs on stuff we did last week.
Okay.
The average penis size length thing. Because when you posed the question of how long was this study done for,
yeah,
I had to validate because I thought it was 5 to 10 years. It's studies all the way back from 1942 to today.
Okay.
Of just literally measuring people's penises from like medical stuff.
And they're getting bigger?
They're getting bigger. They've increased to 6 inches, which once again points to the fact of the collective consciousness is just thinking that bigger dicks mean better things, and we're like evolving in the way of bigger dicks.
I wonder if there is a functionality thing to that.
I'd love to hear your theory of what functionality it
All right, I'll work on it for a week and make a pitch back to you.
All right, tight. Because that, I mean, maybe there is. Could be. I mean, most of the reason that evolution happens for stuff is because it has a function.
Yeah.
But what we talked about last week was like, can we trick our evolution into think because we're conscious and we can like think about bigger penis, that we could just have as something that's not necessarily functional to us. But I don't know. Like a weird example of those, Darwin and the Galapagos Islands, where he did a lot of his work on like, you know, what is it? What is the thing about
like fruit flies or something?
No, his fucking saying about the survival of the fittest, right?
Oh,
the top does that, but then he also had the theory of that there's a lot of like rapid evolution happening on those islands, but not to the extent that way later there were some Galapagos lizards that like moved from those islands to another area and in 2 months grew horns in the next generation. So like they spit out babies, and some of the adults were physically changing to the environment.
Oh my god!
Suggesting that evolution can happen at a pace of months, as opposed to like hundreds of years and hundreds of generations of things.
Well, it would depend on the species, right?
Yeah,
like I mean, how fast they reproduce.
Right, but they're also saying that the adults themselves were having changes to their body. So the same,
really,
yeah. So their offspring had it, but then they're having physical changes.
The whole thing was like an individual organism can't evolve. Just the offspring start demonstrating more traits that are suited to their environment.
I'll find it, but these lizards did. Wow. It flipped the thought on its head, where they're like, wait, what the fuck? These lizards are just growing appendages that fit them better in this environment.
Damn.
Which is pretty cool. Be like us growing a bigger penis right now. Just fucking have a monster dawn by thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to touch on that one because I had to dig into that. Okay, this is the beginning of the stuff that's new. Latvia, which I don't even know where Latvia is, if I'm being entirely honest.
Okay.
I think it's Eastern Europe. I think.
Okay, I don't either.
When someone...
We're qualified to talk about this.
Absolutely. When someone gets arrested for drunk driving, they'll repossess their car and send it to Ukraine now to help the effort. Which is... You know,
it's kind of cool.
It's pretty awesome, dude. I mean, what we live in a place that probably has the least strict drunk driving rule. I've never been in a state that's like, you can get like 3 here, and they're like, yes, okay.
You get like 2 warnings.
Okay, so the third one's maybe the one where they finally pop you.
Yeah. Which is insanity.
Dude.
Every other
oh my
state,
god. Every other state, you get 1, you are done. And here it's like, you just fucking get 2, and they're like, stop doing that. Yeah, stop.
And I think the limit's higher too.
Oh, like alcohol blood content?
Yeah.
No, wait, how I... Because I know 0.08 is like the standard.
I might be wrong about that.
I was going to say, that'd be fucking crazy.
Well, actually, I think there's different levels. So I think there's a certain level where it's the same as everywhere else.
Okay.
But there's tiers of it.
Which I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dicey topic in terms of like, no one should be driving a car with booze in their system. You kill someone. So you're driving like a 2-ton piece of metal around at high speeds, and to just inhibit yourself.
It's just second nature. You don't even feel like you're moving. Just a killing machine.
You're so used to just flying that thing around, and then you add boost to the situation, and God damn. But the idea of repossessing drunk people's cars that get arrested for that, I think that's a good solution.
What do the cars do for Ukraine? Like, where do they...
I don't know. I mean, probably just like basic transport stuff. Military all probably needs more stuff.
Yeah.
We just keep sending them shit.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Once again, I thought... Everyone's thought of this war happening was going to be Russia just steamrolls Ukraine. And it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Which is fucking nuts.
Zelensky, dude.
Dude, have you ever heard him talk? Like, actually physically... Like,
no, I haven't.
You will not... think he sounds the way he does.
He's a comedian. He was a former.
He was an actor. He was a comedian before, but his voice is like this. It's so weird. He looks like a guy who would just talk like, I don't know. I highly just listen to him once. You're like, what the fuck? Dude, it's very, very strange.
All right, I'll check it out.
It's deeper and raspy, and it sounds just weird. All right. What the fuck is that? Average. Oh, there was a man. There's a man who apparently there's a Mario Kart ride in like Disney or something.
Seriously, that sounds awesome.
Sounds pretty cool, right? But I just put average American. Oh, that's what it is. The average American male is too fat to ride the ride.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I guess you have to be in shape to ride the Mario Kart ride. Otherwise, how does that do good business then? If the average man is fat.
You think it's good to have rides where you got to be in shape to ride it?
I don't know, because most people are riding.
It's forcing pressure. Well, get in shape to ride the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good idea in theory, but I feel like no one's gonna do it. If I went to a ride and they're like, "You're too fat," I'd be like, all right, not riding this. I just never.
You're not gonna go home and hit the gym and
absolutely, and like prove to the Mario Kart conductor guy, be like, I did it. He's like, who the fuck are you? Like, dude, go home. Spent like a year getting in shape to ride the fucking ride. I would think mostly kids ride it.
Yeah.
I would think, but then it's talking about the average man. Their parameters, you couldn't ride it. That's fucking, dude, to think that we're that fat? That like
I mean, we talked about this last time.
Yeah, I guess.
Equipment's just slowly compensating for us getting fatter.
Yeah. It's weird because like I guess if you just go out in public, you see a lot of overweight people. Like, go to a Walmart.
Yeah.
So many overweight people. Or I should say any big chain store. The general public is fat.
It's sugar, dude. There's sugar in everything.
Dude, you know... It's fucked up. The history of why we're getting fat, or at least why they think we're getting fat, is in the 60s, we started making processed food. Like trans fat, and processed sugar and stuff. Since the 60s, our exercise and activity has actually increased. Nothing has changed other than the processing of food. And it's just making us so fat. Where they can just...
Our food is horrible in this country.
Yeah.
The fact that we eat pancakes and syrup for breakfast, that's a go-to breakfast.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I had some this morning.
You're eating cake. You're eating literal...
Yeah, you are eating just cake for breakfast.
It's just so bad for you.
Oh. It's so good.
It's incredible.
But it's fucking...
God damn.
It's terrible. I mean...
Pasta sauce... loaded with sugar. Like things you wouldn't think should have sugar.
I want to get real for a second here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth about food. One of my hobbies is, I'm a certified personal trainer.
Your hobby's stupid, dude.
What? Yeah. I was being fucking dumb.
I'm fucking with you.
But, like, my hobby is reading medical science that relates to nutrition, mostly, like going on PubMed and just reading stuff. But, like, it seems like there's somewhat of a consensus on the healthiest thing you can do for your body is eat mostly plants and low fat. Sugar tends to not have that much of a negative effect unless you're eating extreme amounts of sugar, but on your body. So but fat has the opposite. It just clogs all of the pathways to clear things out in your body.
Damn.
So like diabetics is a really good example where they've mainstream knowledge for a long time, and probably still is to an extent, is that you can't have sugar as a diabetic. It'll spike your blood insulin or your blood sugar level, and you'll start to get stuff that doesn't heal. You'll get a leg removed, but it's actually fat is the root cause.
Really?
So yeah, they take diabetics and
I thought we got away from that. I thought it was like originally fat. Everyone's like fat's bad, and then everyone's like
there was an era.
Well,
of that.
shit. Actually, it's sugar that's the problem.
Yeah, which I don't know what the low fat era. It's probably when you substitute things for other things. So if we took something and like put something else bad in it to make it low fat.
Well, I think that's what people were doing. They'd make stuff low fat and pump sugar.
So
into
when I
it.
say low fat, I it's whole food, and fat from sources that are processed are obviously the worst. So oil is really, really bad because you're literally getting
just pure fat,
literally fat with none of the antioxidants that come from the plant that your body just absorbs that immediately.
I thought olive oil is good for you. Don't people say that?
It's not terrible, but if you're trying, like say you're a diabetic, let me bring up this study first that kind of paints this a picture. They took type 2 diabetics that were on 20 units of insulin a day, a lot of insulin. And over the course of 2 weeks, they put them on mostly a whole food plant-based diet, but it was around like apples, white rice, and table sugar were like the three main components for diabetics that were taking 20 units a day. And by 2 weeks, most of them didn't need any insulin.
What?
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. And this stuff, there's this guy, Pritikin is his last name, this doctor who's been doing this stuff with heart disease patients.
Rice, and sugar?
Yeah. Which are, by the definition of mainstream diabetes, that would fucking kill you immediately. And it reversed their type 2 diabetes. Reversed it to the point where they weren't diabetic.
Well, so that was all they ate.
Yeah. But then, so that happened in the 40s.
Okay.
In 1940s. There's a guy, Pritikin, who was doing stuff like that. And now they've replicated over and over and over. There's this website called Mastering Diabetes with these, I always forget the name, but it's a PhD guy in biochemical nutritional processes, and the other guy has a master's in public health. And they both, one has type 1 diabetes, one has had type 2. And the type 1 one, which was deemed an intreatable or incurable type of diabetes because you just have it. Because type 2 is you're insulin resistant. Type 1 is you don't make enough insulin.
You're just born with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, your pancreas just doesn't make enough insulin, so you have to take it. As opposed to if you're type 2, you make tons of insulin, but you're so fat that you're resistant to it. Doesn't matter how much you make.
Okay.
So you have to like literally add more to your body. They literally, their diet's low fat, whole food, plant-based, but it's you can eat as much fruit as you want. Anything that has no oil, you can essentially eat it. You can eat nuts, beans, any kind of grains, any kind of fruit, any kind of vegetable, and it reverses people's diabetes, which is almost unheard of.
How much sugar were those people eating, though?
Like on the diet or same prior?
On the diet.
Probably tons. Like you eat one date, you're eating like 40 grams of sugar.
Okay. But I feel like the added sugar is what gets you.
It wouldn't help, but in that world, it wouldn't be the thing that prevents you from reversing diabetes.
Okay.
So say you were eating those pancakes with syrup every morning, but you weren't using fat. So you're just eating whole wheat and sugar. You would still have capacity to reverse your diabetes. It's fucking crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just got on a huge tangent, but it's the same thing with heart disease. We thought for a long time that you could only slow it down, but there's a guy, Dean Ornish, who was actually up for being the Surgeon General for the United States multiple times, but he was like, nope, I want to keep doing this. And he has like 40 years in making randomized controlled trials with using whole food, plant-based diet to reverse prostate cancer, heart disease, where they literally take people who are like end stage heart disease, have angina that's like crippling, which is like the pressure in your chest. Essentially, it's like permanent when you're at that level. But they take echocardiograms of their arteries before and then after, and like before is literally like filled, where there's like 2% opening to where you're gonna fucking die, and at the end there's nothing inside of it. Your body can just heal itself when you just move out of the way and let it do its job.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So
fat's the problem, not sugar.
To an extent, because nuts are fine as long as you're not gorging on nuts. It's like it really comes down to
you just gotta balance everything, really, right?
Yeah, just the more plants the better, and don't eat like processed shit. Tricks your body essentially because it doesn't fill your stomach. So you could drink so much oil before you felt like full. There's no fiber in it. It's just literally calories going into your body. So, all right, I need to get off my soapbox now. It's taking a turn.
No, dude, I like learning about this
Hell
stuff.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome to know that a lot of disease, at least the ones we have in first world countries, are in your control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of cancers, heart disease, diabetes, which are the top killers of all of us. Like most people will die from a heart attack. 60,000 a year, dude. Every year. Just drop.
Not COVID.
I mean, it's number 2. All right, let's see. Fat people on the Mario Kart ride. I wrote serial killer clownfish, and I don't I don't know what that means. Oh, here's a fun one.
Wait, isn't the clownfish super deadly? Is that what?
I don't know. You mean? Is it? Isn't the clownfish the one from Nemo that he is?
Oh shit! You're
the one that's in the anemone.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're dangerous. I mean, they do have the ability to go.
I want to hear that story, dude.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Oh wait, this is what it was related to. Can animals have social disorders? Like, can an animal be a psychopath? Could there be like a monkey in a tribe of monkeys that literally is a serial killer?
I think animals hunt for sport. Some animals, kill just to kill things.
But that's got to be more of a I'm saying same species. So social being, so that would be like a prey predator situation.
Yeah.
You know, but like say I'm a tiger, you're a tiger, and I'm like killing all your tiger buddies. Other. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the video of an alligator biting another alligator's arm off?
No.
It's fucking wild.
It's like, give me that hand.
Dude, he clamps onto the arm and just starts spiraling.
Oh, just a death spin.
He twists it off.
Oh, God.
And the other alligator's just
it's like, oh, what are you doing? Stop. But I think that's
kind of a psycho move there.
Yeah, that's true. But then you wonder how much of that stuff is like territorial. So much of it in the wild is like either for mating potential or for like, this is my turf.
Are there animals that kill or hurt other animals just because they want to?
And of the same species. And that's where the serial clownfish came in. Where I was like,
why clownfish?
I don't know. Dude, I don't know why that one came up. But in my head, I was imagining just a clownfish just killing a bunch of other clownfishes. I don't know why.
Finding Nemo 3.
We're just committing mass murder in the sea anemone. Yeah. Has just like corpses stacked in a sea anemone. Could happen. I want that question to be answered now. I
feel like monkeys probably do that.
Well, there's some dark stuff that go, like they cannibalize smaller ones and each other. They do some sadistic. They're like every animal part of us that goes to war and mutilates humans. They have a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's like the most animal version of us is that thing. But I've seen some videos, weirdly enough, that Joe Rogan would talk about for a long time about like how fucked up chimps are.
Joe Rogan always talks about a video. I've never seen it, but where a chimp just
was like digging into one's back.
Oh, I was gonna say a chimp peels a guy's face off.
Oh, I haven't seen that. They do go for the face and the genitals. That's the move. God. There was a story like probably in high school where some lady had a pet chimp and her friend came over and the chimp went nuts on the friend. It ripped off her lips and her like eyebrows and gouged her eyes on the did something to her genitals. That's like their go-to attack. And they're so strong.
And they're fast.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Have you ever seen a naked or a hairless chimp?
No.
Oh, dude, I'll show you a picture. They're jacked. Like without hair, you see their muscle, and they're just like these buff little monsters. It's nuts, and they have giant nuts. It's just so disturbing. like literally, it's like buff thing with a huge set of nuts, and it wants to rip off your face and your genitals. No thanks. But yeah,
no thanks.
No thanks. But I would assume that if anything, to your point, they'd probably be the ones with social disorders. They have.
Yeah.
I see so many videos of them that they look so human. I saw the other day.
Dude, it's even going to a zoo, it's freaky.
I know.
It's like, there's like people in there.
Dude, the gorillas the most always freak me out because they'll do things that look so human-like. Like saw a video the other day where usually, like sometimes gorillas will walk upright briefly to do things. Yeah. Like, they're like transitionary periods. They'll like walk out. It looks goofy, but it looks like a human.
Yeah.
And there's these 2 gorillas in the zoo somewhere that like do that more than on 4s. They have this trait in their bloodline that they've like. It's literally
Planet of the Apes.
That's what I'm saying. You're watching them start to become human now, where we're hitting an evolutionary period with some apes where they're becoming cavemen.
Wow,
dude, it's what happens if we get to a period where like the things in the zoos are literally cavemen?
They're still in cages.
Yeah, because they're still in like Ugga period. You know, like they're not. Their brain isn't fully. They're not a Homo erectus, which I think, or because we're Homo sapien, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they'd be Homo erectus. What do we just have people in prisons?
That's what I was saying. It already feels like that. If you see a monkey at a zoo, it's like this thing shouldn't be in a cage.
But then you have these things that don't have the mental capacity to be like an average human.
But it could be in the jungle.
That's terrifying. I guess we have like tribes out in jungles now, so it wouldn't be too different.
Yeah.
But then they'd just be like competing with tribes, and that'd probably. It would be hilarious if they started evolving in zoos and we released them into the wild, and then tribes were like, "What the fuck?" Just to like deal with cavemen, who are probably just way stronger too. We lost so much of our like brute strength through evolution.
We don't need it.
I know, but like those humans would be like gorilla level strength. Just be fucking people up.
We're probably good from that in our lifetime.
I'm saying, oh yes, see them evolve in our time.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, probably. That's fair. Well, when they evolve quickly, like those lizards did, into Homo erectus, and they come for you because they listen to this podcast, you're gonna be fucked, dude.
We're laughing at them.
Yeah, he called me dumb. Right after the clownfish, you ever seen videos of frogs biting each other or fighting each other? I should say.
I don't think fighting each other.
Saw it recently. I didn't realize like frogs don't have teeth.
Yeah.
And they don't have claws. So when they fight, they just kind of
jump at each other.
They like flub on each other. Like literally, it's like they can't do anything, but it's like they're like 2 things wrestling lubed up. Like they're always slipping, sliding, like trying to bite things, and it just like keeps flopping on each other. It's one of the best things you could watch.
Yeah.
If you're trying to have a good time.
Dude, my Instagram feed, just all it is videos of animals.
That's the best kind of feed to have.
I just love watching animals.
Dude, it's some of the best, like, there's so much shit out there, and that stuff is always interesting.
It's always fascinating.
Yeah.
Dude, today I saw apparently crocodiles.
Okay.
Sometimes they're in environments where, like, usually they're warm weather.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're in places where the water freezes over.
And they just hibernate, right?
When that happens, they stick their nose out of the ice, and it freezes around them. And they just stay there and breathe until the ice defrosts.
Because I know koi fish will do that. Like, people who have koi ponds, well, they don't need to breathe air, obviously, but they'll swim to the bottom in winter in, like, the Midwest, and they'll just sit there for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Why don't we have that? Why can't we, dude, 3 months
that got
sleep?
me down a whole rabbit hole of, like, how do cold-blooded animals survive? And apparently frogs have, like, antifreeze in their blood.
Dude, hell yeah.
Things happen like that.
Dude, that's fucking sick. Dude, most of our inventions come from, like, stuff that exists in nature already. Yeah. Like, we've pulled so many pages from nature's book to be like, oh yeah, that's how you do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But wait, is that how you ended up on the fucking alligator rip-off arm video?
Oh no, I saw that years ago.
Separate thing?
Yeah, that was a separate thing.
There was a video of an alligator that I saw, which was pretty fucked up. But someone had died, either fallen in or died very recently into like a Florida swamp.
Oh, baby eaten by an alligator?
No, it wasn't a baby. It was a full-grown human.
Okay.
It's just a video of someone like they're like, standing on a thing. There's a swamp right here. Just a alligator swimming with a full body, human body in its mouth with like clothes on. Just face down. Just pulling someone's body like right in front of them. It killed someone or the guy fell off and it just drowned him or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that one's really like, oh my God, it's a fucking human body, dude. So fun animal stuff.
Fake problems.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Oh god, I went all the way back to the top. Let's see. Oh, do you follow the James Webb Telescope stuff at all?
No.
You know what it is, right?
Super powerful.
Yeah. You know what the Hubble telescope is?
Yes.
That was like our old one.
Yeah,
Came out with James Webb. It's like X amount stronger. So we're trying to see to the origin of the Big Bang. Because that's, the theory is there's a center where the bang happened and everything's flowing outward consistently.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see like, what is there? What's the source? What are we going to see in the middle of it? This is just, we're not there yet, obviously.
Yeah.
We're getting closer and closer. I don't know if this telescope will be able to reach the center, but it's changing our ideas of science about astrophysics and not astronomy, right? Yeah, astronomy, not astrology.
Not astrology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're finding, the original thought is right around the Big Bang, it would essentially just be like particles of shit. Like nothing's fully formed right around the bang, right? Because that's the earliest beginning.
I like how we say the Big Bang's the beginning, but then like we say it was caused by
Something.
particles hitting each other.
Yeah. So there might have been something before. It was just all white before. That's it. But the assumption is that, let me just turn myself down. Around it would just be like unformed stuff. There would be no planets. It would just be tons of particles and whatever. And we're literally finding fully formed solar systems near it.
Oh, shit.
So it just shifted all of our understanding of that back. Of like,
Are we just further away than we thought we were?
I don't know. Maybe. I want to know so bad. What's in the center? Dude, what could it be? And
Dude, or how about what's on the other side
of the moon?
That's the craziest thing I can think of. Yeah. No, but like the universe is expanding, right?
Yeah, always.
What is it? What's on the other side of the expanding? What are we expanding into?
It's just going to be more stuff, right? Because that's the center. So like we're on one side, it'd be a big I'm making motions with my hands. you have the bang in the center. This fist is the center.
But where is that?
Oh, I mean that's what that's a good question.
We don't know what's on the outside of us. We're looking inward, but what about outward?
True. I mean, I think on the outside of us is just we know there's more solar systems and galaxies and I think we've looked away from us. It'd be nuts if we've never looked behind us. We turn around, there's like way more futuristic developed. There's like, oh fuck, dude, we've been looking this way the whole time.
Yeah,
we have to have, and just saw like probably more fully formed.
Well, no, but what I'm thinking but even if we look behind us, that stuff's part of the universe that is expanding.
Yeah.
But if the theory is it all came from like a tiny pin drop and it's expanding outward, what's on the other side? Like where was the origin when it started growing?
Well, I think we're trying to look towards what we believe is the origin. Right. That's what we're doing now. But you're saying on the other side of it. So like literally opposite of the side we're on, that side of the Big Bang. Probably just more stuff, right? I don't know. Or it would be pretty cool if it was like literally an opposite world. Like what everything is here flipped on that side.
Just mirror image.
Yeah. And then we actually like...
That would be disappointing if that's all it was.
Yeah. It would really be shitty because then like we'd have to admit that Marvel was right with this multiverse bullshit. Be like, oh yeah, you guys figured it out. But I don't know. We also we couldn't get there for a long time. Unless we find some technology that's like, oh, we can use wormholes or black holes or holes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would be cool. But we have enough going on here.
Yeah,
we got to solve these
got
problems
my own
first.
shit to do in my own life.
Dude, I'm trying to do open mics. I don't got time to worry about the universe.
That's the center of the universe is you doing open mics.
You ever have you interact with a bunch of people or you're in a social situation and then you really feel like sometimes the I'm in a matrix kind of feeling where stuff seems to like it revolves around you. I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
Do I ever feel like I'm at the center of the universe?
Yeah. It sounds weird when you say it like that. But like where you're the only thing sparking like stuff to move around you.
Oh,
it's a really weird way to describe
like you're in a video game.
Yeah, like stuff when you're not interacting with it seems like it's not quite not alive, but it's like on a different plane of existence when you're not interacting with it. Which they've done some science on with like the double split theory, where it's a crazy setup for the experiment that I can't articulate. But essentially, they look at an atom and they have a way of finding how it looks when you're not paying attention to it, and it shifts into like a different version of itself. And that suggested that like all atoms, when not focused, are something else, and then when brought into focus from your perception, changes.
That sounds like Toy Story.
Yeah, it's essentially Toy Story with atoms. But it's a quantum mechanics theory that's been like.
Is that the whole by the nature that we measured it, like us measuring it changes its form,
something
so
like
we can never really know.
Could be. But suggesting that, it makes me think of those situations where like if I'm not paying attention to something, it acts differently.
So if I don't show up to open mic night,
everyone's doing open mic night.
No one's doing anything.
Yeah, they're just all sitting there in chairs, and then once I walk in, they.
Yeah.
It's possible, man. It makes me. I have those thoughts more than not. It freaks me out for no good reason. Just like getting coffee, but like, the fuck is going on in this fucking place? I think my brain's broken.
I think you need an ego death there.
Oh man, it's a scary thing. When it's forced through drugs, it's a little bit. I mean, the open mic version is also very scary because then you're just you're feeling the worst you possibly can until it just dies.
Yeah.
The drugs one will do that expedited.
That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, but once again, it's based on the dose.
Yeah.
You could eat less, and you'd experience your ego like lift away, but a higher dose will definitely give you ego death, where it just takes all your problems and it goes, here they are, until you go, and then it just dies in front of you, and then you have a great time.
Wait, do you watch your own ego die? Do you like see that in a visual form?
No. You just, and sometimes it won't, but I've had it where like it'll bring up like I don't know, like not bad thoughts, but things I need. Like I think about
things you got to address.
Yeah, like things I think about day to day, but I haven't put like actual thought into them, and it gets you to like try to think about them, but your brain eventually just goes like it goes not offline, but it just stops like attributing judgment to the things you're thinking about. It's just like I'm trying to articulate it, but it's not coming out right.
Okay.
Because there's no feeling like it other than that feeling when you hit it and you're like, whoa. You look at everything differently in that moment.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, I know you're not. Are you a sports guy?
Not like actively follow it. Yeah.
Well, it's not. This isn't really sports, but
yeah.
Did you hear about Aaron Rodgers going on his darkness retreat?
No. What is that? That sounds interesting.
What
is a darkness retreat?
He wanted to take DMT.
Okay.
But he can't because he's in the NFL.
Okay.
So he did this darkness retreat to simulate or hopefully get the same effects of what you would get from taking DMT.
Interesting.
So he went up into some forest in Montana or something.
Yeah.
And just went in a small semi-underground, completely dark enclosure for multiple days and had someone bring him food and didn't see light for like 3 straight days.
Who said that would like imitate? I've never heard of that thing.
I think he did. I don't know.
That'd be so funny if he's like, I can't do DMT,
but
I'm gonna go sit
like
in the dark room.
He just purely trying to isolate his thoughts.
Yeah, why did you just feel like you'd reach
deal
that
with some shit?
I feel like deprivation tanks are typically
sensory deprivation.
Yeah, most people will do those because they eliminate like.
I think it's kind of like that, but a more extended.
Like in a closet in Montana.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. On the topic of Aaron Rodgers, did you hear about the stuff of him like stealing $10 million from a fund used for like impoverished people to fund the school that his daughter goes to? And like was in coots with the mayor on doing it, and there's a text chain between
Aaron
them.
Rodgers doesn't have a daughter.
Oh wait,
Brett Favre.
Is it Brett Favre?
I think it's Brett
That's
Favre.
what it is. My bad, Aaron Rodgers. Didn't mean to shame your name. That's my bad. Brett Favre is the one.
Another Packers icon.
Yeah. That's why I thought of it. But yeah, he like fucking.
I did hear about that.
And dude, the topic
chose to not look into it because I love Brett Favre.
Is pretty condemning. There's literal text messages between him and I think it's the mayor who is in charge of the funds that they took, being like, "Are Brett Favre saying, are we going to get caught for this?"
Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
I mean, yeah, ever since he retired, a lot of sketchy stuff coming out with him.
The topic of CTE has come up a lot with how
he talks about it a lot. He's very open.
And in regards to the situation of taking money, it's like what they'll say. Symptoms of CTE will be a lot of like lack of judgment in a lot of ways, and like this one's such an obvious like you have this football tactician who's making decisions like this. Yeah. It's weird that it's so blatant, and the man has tons of money too. It's such a strange situation. It
blows my mind when you have so much money and then get caught dealing drugs. It's like, dude, why?
Or taking like you have millions of dollars.
Doing something illegal to get more money when you already have so much.
And I guess we would never understand it until you have it at the same time, right? Like,
dude, I think you just always want more.
Yeah, it's fucked up. How do you stop that? Like, some people give it up. Like, there's like, what is it, the 99%er club, or billionaires who've given away 99% of their wealth. Some just do it. They have $20 billion and they give away. I guess you still have like $1 billion then, but
yeah,
still tons of money.
It's like, I'd hope you'd give away a good amount.
Yeah, and then I don't fucking know. Like Bill Gates, I don't fucking know.
Bill Gates is doing a lot of good stuff.
Dude, he's done so many good things. He gets so much shit.
He does.
But he's almost rid Africa of smallpox or measles. But like, I remember reading about him doing that every time, because there's a lot of hesitance to get vaccines in Africa because it's just a bunch of white people coming over there and being like, hey, let us put this stuff in you. And so like, they've done it multiple times where they'll get like 90% of the region covered that they need to eradicate the thing, but the 10% won't take it, and then they get it and it spreads back to people again. And it's just nonstop game of like whack-a-mole with vaccinating this thing and getting rid of it. But it's like they almost eradicated the whole thing. They've eradicated like one other disease there. It's truly impressive, dude. And he's been working with engineers to give like what's the word? Sewage system stuff to most of Africa, where they like get African engineers involved, and Bill Gates just funds them and like goes down there and not guides the process, but you know, he's like an executive producer essentially on the engineering going on. So, but I don't fucking know. He gets a lot of shit. I don't think he should get as much shit, but it's probably just a lot of
worse billionaires.
Yeah, dude. Probably just like fucking kids somewhere. There's probably so many of those fucking kids. After the Epstein Island stuff, there's so many rich people fucking children. Isn't that fucking crazy? And also, that stuff happened. Nothing happened. All that comes out, we're like, oh yeah, duh. Like, wait. No one got convicted.
Oh, I see.
We had like flight lists of like
Yeah.
tons of people who went to this island that is an island filled with a child pedophile human trafficking sex ring.
Hell on earth.
Yeah. And we saw that information come out. Epstein killed himself, where the security cameras were turned off for that blank moment. The security guard took a break, and no one's doing anything. What is happening? And this is old by now. This is like what, 2 years or a year ago that this all happened, and we're all just like, oh yeah, what can you do? Because you just gotta leave it. I don't know. Once again, what can you do?
Us?
Yeah,
Not
the common
much.
man can't do anything other than
grow a podcast and get the word out.
and then get killed by the CIA for getting that, because half the people in there were like in high places in politics, and there's all the famous people and old presidents and just anyone you can think of. Donald Trump's on that list. There's this. He was a FBI guy, I believe, and then went and did his own special unit in like child sex trafficking to like take down these rings. And I forgot where I watched this guy, but it was like an interview for a couple hours, and he was talking about how most of these pedophiles or child sex ring guys, they always start with like normal porn, like everyone, and it just kept progressing. Most of these guys were just normal people, and like something went wrong that they just progressed to the most evil version of it, and then ended up starting to like manage rings of this and supply with all of this actual content. But it's...
Dude, how do you become that evil?
I think because you don't think it's that evil when you're doing it. You get to a point where you think this is okay, or maybe not good. Like Hitler's a good example of that, where in his head, he's thinking he's eradicating the bad thing. I don't know how that translates to child sex rings, but they're probably... I don't know. There's a lot of ways to rationalize.
That evil does something in their head to either ignore it or think it's okay.
Yeah, it's just, what are those things? I mean, dude, imagine.
And it's like, is it just power that does that to you?
Well, power does... I would say power definitely corrupts, for sure. You look at any instance of one man having power over people, bad things tend to happen. It's very rare that it stays good for a while. It like always falls apart. I can't think of one situation where there's a ruler somewhere.
Marcus Aurelius. He's the most famous.
The Stoic.
Yeah. He like maintained power for a long time, and to my knowledge didn't become super evil or tyrannical.
That's good.
But like that's great.
That's
but
one.
Outside of that, I think you're right. I think
I can't.
It either corrupts you or just reveals that you were already a shitty person.
I think it points to the idea that we're not meant to rule over each other. Like we're all human, and the second we try to like create a power dynamic between one being higher, one being lower, it crumbles into evil stuff, and it's just proven itself over and over and over to be that. Except for Marcus Aurelius. He is the outlier.
Just be a stoic.
Yeah. Dude, it's weird that you said that. I learned about that guy recently from... You know who the Daily Stoic is? That guy Ryan... Ryan Holiday is his name. But he's like a student of a guy who was like one of the best writers from Stoicism. And he writes these like consumer digestible books on Stoicism.
Okay.
And he recommends Meditation by Marcus Aurelius, which is the Stoicism book. Yeah, that's the first one. Then he has his own.
One of my friends recommended that book to me a long time ago.
Yeah, so I was gonna buy it and read it for my next book. So I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to see what this is all about." It sounds super cool. It's like being disciplined and being good. I like that shit. Sounds like good qualities. All right, let's see what else we got. We're almost at 2 hours, so we can do a couple more and then peel off here. Oh my God. We talked about like learning things that you should have known a long time ago and feel stupid learning the truth of them now. This is within the past year. When you go deeper in water and there's more pressure, I just thought that was like a weird science thing of water. I never like equate. Yeah. I never, until this year, I was like, oh,
it's the weight.
It's just the weight of all the water on you.
Okay, I because of my background, I know that, but I probably would have thought the same thing.
Yeah, like I don't know how many movies or videos I've seen of like submarines, like where people are protected because they have a material around them that's stronger than the pressure of the water sitting on them.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird that water just makes your ears pop. Fuck. You got any of those? We all have those, I guess. But
yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, dude, happened not too long ago. More fat stuff.
Did you cry at all?
No, I don't think I had anything. I've been kind of absorbed by video games lately. It's not good.
Nice.
A couple games came out, man. There was this one called Sons of the Forest, which is like a survival game where it's just you and a bunch of buddies build a base and like there's all these weird mutant zombies and cannibals and stuff like that. It's such a blast, but it consumes you. It's so fucking fun. And yeah, but no crying. How about you?
I watched the Jimmy V speech. That one gets me every time.
Yeah?
A little teary.
What did he say? You need to laugh, you need to cry, and what was the last one?
Spend some time in thought.
That's what it is. Yeah, which I've done. Definitely haven't cried. That's for sure. It's hard to find something that's going to make you cry every day. Think about trying to practice that.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Every day.
Seems kind of traumatic.
Imagine crying every day. I feel like dudes don't cry every day. I mean, dudes rarely
That's
cry.
so sexist of you to say, bro. I mean, that's probably true. I'm definitely not crying every day.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Should we be?
I don't know. I feel like this is anecdotal, obviously, of women I know who have had periods of times crying every day for like a week or multiple weeks. I can't imagine that. That's tough.
It's a lot.
Like unless it's from something like watching a video and you get teary-eyed and it's like a happy cry.
No, just from your own shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like sobbing because you're broken for multiple days. What does that do to a person?
I feel like guys are just more removed from our emotions.
I think so.
We're not as like tapped into it.
Dude, this is a thought I had a while ago.
Which has pros and cons.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely... the stuff you experience and the internal stuff you push down will just come out another way. That's the unfortunate part. You can just ignore the world around you, but it's going to come out in like some either rageful way or...
Like Michael Richards.
What?
Michael Richards.
Like Michael Richards. Exactly like Michael Richards. Fuck, what was I going to say? Women crying every day. Oh. So, I had this realization a while ago, maybe like years ago, but when you look at rates of anxiety in general and depression, women have it higher, just in general. And, I was just trying to figure out, like, why would that be kind of situation? And, I would argue some of it is just due to hormone. We have a major difference in hormones. But there's also, if you're a woman, you probably have this overarching anxiety of feeling not physically safe.
It is weird hearing my female friends talk about walking home. I've never feared for myself walking home from anywhere in a city. Yeah. And that's like always top of their mind, it seems. Right.
It's like you, as a woman, this is going to sound bad.
Can't wait till a woman hears this.
Physically inferior to men. No, but literally, it's like in a situation, 99% of women would not be able to protect themselves against an average man, which is that thought alone would be scary. Terrifying. You would have a baseline,
and men are probably more aggressive on average than women.
Dude. Like you have a baseline of just anxiety that we don't. We have, like you said, you've never thought about that of like, oh, I'm walking home at night, I'm scared that guy's gonna jump out and hurt me or rape me or something. Never a thought in my head, ever. And they live with that daily, every single day.
Yeah, it's wild.
We might have to change the name of like dark shit for the podcast. Been touching on a lot of dark stuff. But yeah,
it's comedy though.
Just kidding. Jesus, that's going to be cut.
No, that's going to be snipped and taken out of context.
Just clipped of me saying that. Dude, you could ruin my life with the amount of stuff probably from the earlier ones, but if you clipped enough, do some damage. Yeah. All right, one more thing, then we'll wrap it up. Let's see, end on a fucking banger. I should ask you, dude. Do you got anything?
I have a stupid one. I have a silly one.
Dude,
kind of.
Hit me with it.
Have you seen these big red rubber boots people are wearing?
No.
Dude.
Explain.
All right, they're called Mischief rubber boots. Hold on, I'm going to pull them up. Celebrities are wearing them, dude.
Do they look like the Kanye boots? Or maybe they are.
I don't know what the Kanye boots are.
Oh, they might be those. Because Kanye started wearing those and they look fucking weird. Oh, no, I have. What the fuck? $350? Who's wearing these?
Like famous people. Famous rich people. They're expensive. They look like cartoon boots. Look, this guy's wearing them with jeans. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Like, is that where? So I saw this.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, am I going to be wearing those in 2 years? Like, is that where fashion's? Because I feel like I'm always behind the trend.
When's the last time you really wore like high fashion stuff though? Because I guarantee it's getting in the market of like, this is so artsy that it's cool.
But I feel like it trickles down. I don't, like, dude, I remember when wearing like sweatpants like this, like tapered at the ankle.
Yeah.
That was super weird if a dude would wear sweatpants like this.
True.
I remember seeing that and being like, that's insane. Now I wear them all the time.
But that's a cool one.
Yeah, but it looks stupid at the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, is this going to become cool?
Oh man, I hope not. That looks real bad. But that one's like obscenely bad.
It's so bad.
It looks like you look like a toy.
I know. But is that where we're headed? We're just going to look like cartoon characters?
We look like we all have elephantitis of the foot. Just flopping around with our big mutated limbs. I hope not, man. There's also weird, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing that I've been like, oh, that's cool now that I wear that fashion-wise changed. You know what's weird? In line with the stuff that my parents bought me, that same Christmas they bought me this fucking Top Gun shirt. They bought me a pair of Skechers.
Okay.
Which, I don't know about when you're growing up how Skechers were looked at, but like it was always like the nerd shoe. Yeah. And I can't get away from that feeling. They're like an average. It's an average running shoe. Do you wear them? When I go on walks, but I feel cool? I feel so weird.
I feel like New Balance has kind of become that.
Yeah, they were definitely
New Balance
like
was
the dad shoe.
It's becoming cooler.
I can't. The feeling in me so deep that I'm like, I'm a fucking nerd. When I wear those shoes, it's weird.
Skechers is rough. That's another level.
I'm telling you.
Crocs, dude.
I've never worn a Croc.
A lot of people wear them and they get shit on, but people wear them. I feel like people wore them ironically for a while.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you do that enough, it gets to the point where it's just a thing people wear now.
It's true. I guess, but Crocs offer like functionality. Like they're super comfortable to wear. But like that big boot thing, it's not functional.
Ankle support.
You're never breaking an ankle. Like you're balling in those. Break someone's ankles with those boots on. It'd be pretty fucking dope. All right. Well, should we end it?
Let's end on that one.
Okay. Well, till next time, folks. Fake Problems Podcast next Thursday. Tune in to the thing that's not on Spotify.
Tune in.
All right.